So, Age of Empires 5 is on its way. Maybe. Unconfirmed. So, there's currently a job going on the Microsoft website for a principal Unreal engineer for gameplay at World's Edge. We can see on here, it does actually mention Age of Empires. So, at Xbox Studios, we're working hard to continue the great legacy of Age of Empires, our beloved RTS franchise. We're a passionate group responsible for this amazing franchise, and we're expanding our team, looking for a wonderful colleague that will be responsible for planning and building our future tech stack. So it doesn't actually mention anything else about Age of Empires in the rest of the job description, so I'm not really going to go down it. But yeah, looks as though Age of Empires 5 is probably on its way, and it's going to be built using the Unreal Engine, which is going to be, wow, unreal. So exciting stuff. So I'd expect, if this is going to be the case, that Age of Empires 5 is on its way. I wouldn't expect an announcement anytime soon. Probably next year at the earliest, I would have thought, before it's announced. And then even then, if we think back to Age of Empires 4, it was a number of years later before we even got a glimpse of what it was going to look like. So don't expect anything anytime soon, but it certainly looks as though Age of Empires 5 is on its way. So it's going to be interesting to know, and do let me know in the comments what you think to this, what sort of direction they're going to be going with the game, if it is indeed Age of Empires 5. Are they going to be going for the next sort of time period like they did previously with the original series of the game? So moving on from the medieval period into the sort of empire building Renaissance type period. So looking at a modern version of Age of Empires 3, or are they going to go for the original idea for Age of Empires 4 that Ensemble Studios had, which was a sort of futuristic kind of theme, or are we going to be going for a classical period game? So very much a modern version of Age of Empires 1. Be interesting to know. I'd quite like a new Age of Empires 1, if I'm honest, personally, because I always find with RTS games I prefer swords and shields and horses and bows and arrows rather than guns. So for me, and I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to like the classical period, which is what got me into Age of Empires way back when I was a kid with Age of Empires 1. So I'd be really excited for that. I don't know. They might go for the sort of remake of Age of Empires 3, if you like, and have a totally different spin on it that's going to be a bit more similar to Age of Empires 4 in terms of the gameplay, rather than Age of Empires 3. Age of Empires 3 had quite a big move away from what Age of Empires 1 and 2 were. I think it was probably too much of a step in one go, which is why we didn't see another Age of Empires game for 20 years or however long it was. So hopefully they won't take away the core sort of mechanics of what is an Age of Empires game. It will still feel like an Age of Empires game. That's what I always thought Age of Empires 3, the main problem with it was just, it didn't feel, it was a good game, but it didn't feel like, to me, like an Age of Empires game. It felt like just another RTS. So yeah, it'd be quite interesting to see what they do with that. I mean, there is the argument that Age of Empires 4 is coming away from that as well, but I think Age of Empires 4 is a lot more like Age of Mythology in the way that it plays, as opposed to Age of Empires 3 or Age of Empires 2. But yeah, it'd be quite interesting. Let me know in the comments what you think. Hopefully we will find out some more information about this in the not so far future, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for that. Probably be a couple of years before we even hear anything. But yeah, sounds as though we're at the very, very early stages of developing Age of Empires 5. Looks as though they're just getting the people in place now. So let's see what happens. Cheers, guys. I'll see you on the next one.